So find and replace. Imagine working on a very large data set. Okay. Imagine working on a very large data set. Imagine you have a very large data set and you want to find an item on that data set. For instance, I have quite a large data set and I want to know if there's anybody bearing Allison in this data. Okay. If the data is very large and I cannot begin to check each column one after the other, what I will simply do, I can either use the filter because I remember I said the filter is like one of the most powerful tools, even the most powerful when you're working on data cleaning. Okay. I can go that route or I can simply use my find. Now, what the find will do, okay, is it will find every instance of Allison in the data. Okay. While the filter process, okay, might be a bit longer, the find will simply do it at once. It will look for every cell that contains that name, Allison. Okay. So let's look at an example. If I want to find, all right, if I want to find, remember that I said if you highlight a range of cell, Excel knows that, okay, this is a range you want to perform an operation on. But if you do not highlight the range of cell, if you just simply perform the operation without highlighting, Excel assumes that you want to cover the operation on the entire sheet. Okay. Here, I don't mind covering the operation on the entire sheet because I want to know, is there anywhere in this data where I can find the term Allison? What I will do is I will press Control F on my keyboard. Control F on my keyboard. So it opens up the find and replace window for me. Now, in here, I'm going to type what I want to find. What do you want to locate? I want to locate Allison. Alison. Allison. Okay. And I want to find every instance of Allison. Anywhere I can find the word Allison, locate it for me. I will click on find all. Beautiful. It tells me there is one instance of Allison. Can you see? It tells you the name of the sheet. It tells you the name of the workbook, the name of the sheet, the cell where that value is in cell B15. Okay. Forget the dollar sign that it has there. Okay. I'll explain the concept of dollar sign when we're looking at relative referencing and absolute referencing. Okay. But having the dollar sign, having without having the dollar sign is basically talking about the same cell. Okay. Cell B15. That is where I have my value, Allison. Now I can search within a sheet or I can search within the entire workbook. If I look at workbook here, if I click workbook and I click find all, beautiful. Now it tells me, oh, I have two instances of Allison in this entire workbook. I have one in the cell B15 under find and replace. I have another in the cell B15 in the sheet joining text. Okay. But most times you'd be using find within sheet. Okay. Search by rows or by columns. If you click by columns and I click find all, it will do the same thing. What by row simply does is that it searches it row by row. What by column simply does is that it searches its column by column. But as long as you are searching within the same sheet, whether you are searching by row or by column, it is for you to find where you need it. Okay, I return this by row. Look in formulas, values, notes, comments. It depends. For instance, maybe you want to find a word or a term in a formula that is in a cell. You select formulas. Okay, but in this instance where there's no formulas, it will just check for what you have in the cell itself. Okay, if it is values, then it will look for it in the cells where you have only values without formulas. Okay, same thing for notes and comments, but that is by the way. All right, now what the match case does is whenever you see me explaining something, okay, it is because it pertains to you. If I don't go to any other region, okay, it's because it most likely does not pertain to you. Now, you see match case. What match case does is, oh, I need to match the case I put here. You can see Alison, I started with capital letter A. If I select match case and I click find all, it still finds it. Why? Because what I type here is the same case, uppercase, then the remaining is lowercase. It is the same case with what I have in the cell B15. But if I change this letter A to small letter A, Allison, and I say match case, I tick the box match case, and I click find all, you can see it tells me we couldn't find what you were looking for. Meaning I cannot find this Allison. All right. I cannot find this Allison. So you can see in this instance, it could not find Allison. Why? Because I'm using small letter A here. I'm using what? Small letter A. And I said match case, meaning it should only look for the exact case. But if I untick match case, meaning whether it is uppercase or lowercase, find it. Now, if I click find all, do you see that? It still finds it, even though I used small letter there. Okay. If I say find Alison 1 and I click find all, you see, it tells me could not find anything, isn't it? But if I say find Alison space then 1 and I say find all, it could not find anything. Okay. Because it has to be the same. Okay. But what if I say in this instance now, find human, 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 and I say find all, it tells me it can find human in the word human resources. Okay, I can find the word human in human resources. Human resources appears in cells E4 and E6. Okay, human resources appears in cell E4 and E6. But what if I am not looking for human resources? I'm looking for only where I can find the word human. I don't need any other thing in the cell. That should be the only thing in that cell, human. Then I will need to tick match entire cell content. Meaning, what it will do is that it will take the entire cell content, everything in that cell, and it will try to match it with what I'm looking for. If it is exactly the same, that is what I'm looking for. So I will tick match entire cell content. Now, if I click find all to say we could not find because there is no cell that contains only human. Okay. And that is that on find. Now, whenever you press Control F, you have the find window. Then another window is the replace window, because you can see it's called find and replace. You now have the replace window. Here, you can specify what you want to replace. Let's say there's an item you want to substitute or you want to replace in a cell or in a column or in your sheet. For instance, we are doing a little bit of restructuring in our firm, and we want to start calling the technology department. We want to start calling it IT department. So you have been given the task as the analyst. Okay. So let's say there is no data engineer this time around. You are the one handling the data of the company. Let's say the company is not a large company, just a company of maybe about 15 employees. No, like 25 employees. Let's say you have about 6 people in the technology department and all of that. Get so you've been tasked with, replace anywhere you can find technology, okay, on the sheets, on the data set. Let's say you have quite a large data set that contains other variables, okay, and wherever you can find technology, basically, we want you to just replace it with IT, because they won't be known as technology again. They will now be known as IT. So what do? This is where the replace function comes in. So you are going to use your find and replace to replace every instance of technology with IT. So I'm going to put inside my find box here, I'll say, look for technology. Now, what do I want to change it for? I want to change it for IT. I want to replace it with IT. IT. Now, the same way all of this worked in your find window is the same way it works here in the replace. So do you want to replace it within the entire sheet? Do you want to match the same case that you're finding? Do you want to match entire cell content? As it pleases you, so you tick. Okay. But here, I'm not going to take anything. I'll just click replace all. Now you see automatically that every instance of technology has been replaced with IT. Okay. And that is that on the find and replace. Find and replace.
Drop your questions in the comment section. Thank you.